Welcome back to my channel 12 and 30 Code. So in today's video, we'll be talking about use effect hook. So when you're talking about use effect, uh, use effect hook. All right. So when you're talking about use effect hook, I'm going to explain this in the simplest way possible. So use effect hook is a tool in React that allows us to run some code when certain things happen in our application. Okay, so think of it like a helper that watches for changes in your app and performs actions when those changes occur. Let me use an example. Um, Imagine you have a smart light bulb in your home. The light bulb is set up to turn on automatically every time you walk into the room. You don't have to turn the light on manually. It reacts to your presence. It uses motion sensors to know that okay, yes, there's someone in this room. Now in React, use effect is like a smart light bulb. It reacts to changes like when a state change in your application and automatically perform some tasks for you. So that's basically what it does. So that's basically what use effects does. So how does it look like? So let's just import use effects from React. So we'll say use effects from React. Sorry. Yeah. All right. So now how use effect works. Let's do this since we're no longer. All right. So this is how use effects works, right? Use effects like this, and then we have a function, and then we have what we call a dependency array. So now your code, that's what you want to do when certain conditions were met or certain state change in your application. The code of whatever you want to do is now going to be written here. Then we have the dependencies array. Now this array can um, determine how you want your if use effects to work in a nutshell. So we're just going to sorry, yes, the so basically where your dependencies are going to be. Did I spell this right? Dependencies. Yeah. All right. All right. All right. All right. So this is where your dependencies are going to be. Okay. So now I'm sure most of you will be like, you're just talking, like we don't even know what you're trying to say, stuff like that. So I'm going to show you an example of how this actually works. Let's say we want to log a message to the console every time the page loads. You can use effects. So we're going to use effect for this. All right. So first of all, we're going to create a component. We already have app.js, which we can use for that. Um, so now here, where we're supposed to have our code. So we'll say console.log. So we want to log the component as loaded, something like that. So just say uh, the component has loaded. All right. So now for our dependencies, we're going to leave this empty. I'm going to explain something in a bit. So let's just run it first. So we're going to open here so that we can see whatever is being logged, and we're going to refresh the page. All right. So now you see your component has loaded. So now how use effect works now. But you said is when some certain changes are made or a state change, that's when it's supposed to run. So why is it running when there's no state? Calm down, let me explain. So this is why it's running. Every time your component renders, now with an empty array, it's going to run once. So for every time your page loads, it's going to run, this use effect is going to run once. Do you understand? So that's what happened. Now there are several ways to use effect. You could take it, you could use effect like this now. Now using use effect like this is going to run for every time the page, every render cycle. So even if you change state, it's going to run. Everything that is going to make the application render or re-render is going to run again. So now us using empty arrays is now going to make it run just once. That's just once. So this is one of the example. So we're going to use another example. So we're going to create a counter. Let's say a simple counter. Um, we'll use effects. We're going to need use state because we want to create a counter here. So say use state. All right. So say const. Now we're creating a count. Set count. So this count now is going to be 0. Yeah, let's put it at 0. Okay, so we have our this thing here. So we're just going to change a little bit of this. Give it a div. Now that div, we're going to have a p tag. Oh, doesn't look like that. A p tag with count. Now this count, we're going to put in the value count that's from our state here. Then we're going to have a button also. Now this button is let's just say increase count. That's the text we're going to have here. Increase count, something like that. Now we're going to have an onClick. So an onClick function. All right. So now what this onClick function does is going to add one. So it's going to increase the count. So we're going to add one. So we'll say set count. So we're going to set count, which is we're supposed to take the previous count. So we'll say previous is equals to, so we're going to use the previous value and say previous plus one. Yeah. So we're going to say previous plus one, basically. Let's arrange all of this so that it's readable, more readable. All right. Okay. So now we have our count. So every time you click, it's going to um increase the count. Another thing we need to do now, let's just change this here so that people can just understand what we're doing. So you could say the count has changed to, so we just do something like this to, and then say count. All right, so let's check our console and then we click on this. We didn't provide our state here. So based on that, we didn't provide this state inside this dependency array. Every time our value in the state changes, it's not going to run because we just say this use effect to run only once. So now if we should add the count here, all right, so we will refresh everything. Okay, so now we have the first initial render. Let's say the count has changed to 0. So if we should click on this, we have the count has changed to 1. So for every state that we have updates, you can see that the count is going to keep on changing. So for every time we click it, it's going to keep on changing. Now I don't know why I can't scroll down in this compiler. think there should be a way for me to expand this thing. And I don't think there's a way for me to expand it. Um, okay, so you can see here we have changed to 4. That's the current value here. So this one now, this is how use effect works. So here the use effect hook listens for changes to the count variable. Whenever the button is clicked, the count changes and the use effect runs again, printing the new count value to the console. So now the dependencies that we talked about, empty arrays runs only once when the component first loads. Arrays with values, that's this one that we just did. So this effect runs whenever the value inside this array changes. So whenever this value inside the array changes, it's going to rerun this use effect. And then we talked about the one that has no array at all, which is going to run on every render cycle. So which is going to run on every render cycle. Yeah. So basically, this is how use effect works in a nutshell. Now, mind you, use effect has downsides. It has its side effects. Like it has a lot of side effects, but I won't talk about that in this video. Maybe in my next video, I'll talk about the side effects of use effect. So, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm watching you.